Sparky, what a wonderful outfit.
Why, thank you.
What do you call that?
Oh, this is my steampunk fairy costume.
Steampunk fairy. Okay. Wonderful.
Yours, Kappa, my love.
Well, let's keep reading.
All right.
We're going to continue the Bavarian Airship Regatta, and we are now on the chapter we call the Marienplatz Confrontation.
Dun, dun, dun.
Should put my cap on.
Indeed. Ooh, very natty, my dear.
Mm-hmm. Goes with my purple and blue. Erasmus pulled a chair up next to the lushly made bed that cocooned Sparky. Sparky needed to hear the rest of the story. Erasmus cleared his throat to begin the remainder of the tale. But word that Sparky had come to was making its way around the airship, and Erasmus would just have to wait. First, there was Luis Miguel Sevilla, carrying a platter of breakfast pastries and a small glass of fresh apple juice. The platter was presented as if it were an offering for this wondrous turn of events. He looked incredibly relieved at Sparky's ability to sit up and talk. Reginald Wallace made his entrance as Luis Miguel left. He started his monologue as he stepped through the door. Dr. McTrowell, you've awakened. What a relief. Now I don't have to have another racing pilot flown in. Ha ha. His fake laughter at his own self-centered humor put a strange hush over the room. Well, now I'll need to run out and let the press know about the good health of my pilot. Can't wait to see you back at the helm. He left as abruptly as he came. J.B. Fox had been standing guard at the door to make sure that Sparky was protected. He slipped into the room and simply asked one question, although his tone hinted at it being heartfelt. Are you back with us, Doctor? His eyes softened to hear Sparky reply, I'm back, but still groggy, thank you for asking. He nodded and smiled, but stayed in his room with Sparky, Lord Ashley, and Erasmus. This ended the small parade of well-wishers. J.B. turned and locked the door for privacy. Erasmus again quietly cleared his throat to finally tell the remainder of the tale of what happened. Willie Domp stayed back to guard you, Sparky. J.B. and I followed the gypsies that attacked you at the Marienplatz, which is an open area in the center of town. There we were able to corner one of them who was wearing a bright blue tunic. We lost the other one in the crowd, unfortunately. He was a scrappy sort. He pulled a pair of knives out to do us harm, spitting and cursing as he jabbed at us. We kept our distance, of course, while trying to keep him cornered. You probably do not remember that I had my cane with me. Well, to be honest, Doctor, it is a sword stick. Did you really think I didn't notice that when I first inspected it in Lord Ashley's sitting room? Really, Chief Inspector, I'm an inventor. The locking mechanism near the handle, it's beautifully made and subtle, but I am observant. Please, continue. Erasmus's eyebrows raised, but then came back down to hide his surprise. He always thought that he had kept this secret well, but between Sparky's and Alistair Bennington Rutherford's ability to spot the sword stick, he now wondered how many people had known and not told him. Well, back to the story. The sergeant spotted it first. The man we cornered was cursing in German. So he asked, oh boy, help me with this.
Nearchesa tu Romanis.
Do you speak Romani? The fellow responded with a very confused look. That meant that he was not a true gypsy and was using it as a guise. Perhaps, in reaction to this, he made a break for it, and I was forced to unsheathe the live blade of my sword stick. I used the scabbard to hit the outside of his knee and the back of the blade to tap his collarbone. This was not intended as a killing cut, but instead to arrest his motion, which it did admirably. It also cleanly removed the top two ties of the impostor's shirt, revealing the scoundrel's chest. There, both JB and I saw the tattoo of an anchor piercing a skull. Not one suited for land dwellers, but rather for rough men that sail either the ocean or sky. What would sailors be doing here, and why would they want to attack me and Willie? Erasmus looked at JB, who responded with a continue your story nod. It has become clear that pirates were using gypsy disguises to get near the two of you and the other airship pilots. But to finish, 3 or 4 additional counterfeit gypsies threatened the two of us from behind, just long enough to allow our cornered pirate to escape. Then the rest of them disappeared into the crowd. We then got you back to the Birkenhair safely, summoned a local German doctor to examine you. He put some salve on your head and instructed us to apply ice chips on and off to reduce the swelling. It looks like it was a successful process, but you had us mightily worried, if I do say so myself. The men in the room gave Sparky plaintive facial expressions that showed agreement with Erasmus's last point. Erasmus continued. After confirming our concerns, JB and I went to check on the whereabouts of the other regatta pilots. All of the others had not left their craft or crew except Pierre, who was not to be found. Later that night, the story got back to us that Pierre was, if I may be so blunt, looking for evening companionship, as he often does. He ran into 2 sham gypsies, but fended for himself with his well-known knife skills. Apparently, his attackers did not expect such a fight. Still, it was a close call. He ended up with some minor cuts near his left wrist and a sizable bruise on his right shoulder. Sergeant, should I continue? Please do, Chief Inspector, the aerial Marine replied. Sparky, JB warned me that we may have to deal with pirates at some point in the regatta. But the sergeant was not expecting such an early confrontation, particularly in the city. The aerial Marines had not briefed him that the problem was worsening, so we were taken by surprise. JB has agreed to let you and Lord Ashley be briefed on the situation, since our lives may be at stake. JB then proceeded to explain that multiple countries, including Great Britain, were concerned over the loss of safe airspace for the commercialization due to airship pirates who had started to drive craft away. Part of the reason that Bavaria was holding the regatta was to map the location of the pirates, allow the team to go in and remove them, and for international travelers and investors to feel safe about traveling the Bavarian skies. JB added, any part of the trip may be thwarted by pirates, but we are prepared. Sparky rubbed her head. May I be led to my cabin? I could use a change of clothes and a restorative drink of birch bark tea. The men agreed and moved to help her to her feet. During this activity, JB requested that all of this be kept secret since non-crew passengers might panic or leak the situation to reporters. They all agreed to do so. Erasmus promised himself, no additional harm will come to this woman while I'm on this assignment. And that ends the Marienplatz confrontation.
Whew. I guess our heroes are lucky they got out safely.
We've been reading the Bavarian Airship Regatta
For Corona Storytime.
See you later.
See you next time.